in terms of money, Phillips has said that he's going to plow in at least $2 million of his own money to be competitive in New Hampshire. How much money, Cenk, have you raised? What's your target for the final quarter here of the year?
Yeah, so I'm not independently wealthy. It's a super fair question. CenkForAmerica.com. We've raised in the 6 digits, so we're good at raising money. You know why? Because people actually want somebody to fight for them. So everybody knows that we know that it's a long shot, right? And everybody who donates knows it's a long shot. But we also know that if I become president, there's nothing in the world that's gonna stop me from passing all the policy positions on my website. Paid family leave, public option, $15 minimum wage, negotiating drug prices. And by the way, many other policies that are not on there, Medicare for all, ending the endless wars, etc. I'm a progressive who's gonna fight for you, but not just for progressives, but for Democrats, all Democratic voters, and for all Americans as well. So yes, Dean Phillips is gonna outraise me. You're not wrong to challenge me on that. And Joe Biden will have hundreds of millions of dollars more than me. But I'm gonna have the loudest voice, and I'm gonna fight the hardest for the American people and for Democratic voters. And by the way, I'm gonna fight for 25 million naturalized citizens who are tired of being treated as second-class citizens. That's why we're going to New Hampshire. That's why we want you to come with us to New Hampshire, 9:15 a.m. at the Ballot Law Commission. And we're gonna get a hearing on this. We're finally gonna get a hearing on this, and we're gonna fight for those 25 million naturalized citizens. Enough. We are American. We are 100% American. Stop treating us like we're not, especially because the Constitution has already been amended. And so, yes, I will not have anywhere near the money Joe Biden has, but it's the size of the fight in the dog that matters. And I got a lot of fight in me.
I'm going to ask you about New Hampshire a little bit more in just a second, but I want to ask you in terms of some of these progressive issues, whether it's raising the minimum wage, taxing the rich, free college, Medicare for all, taking care of the undocumented migrants who have crossed in this country. A lot of this Bernie Sanders supported, and when Bernie Sanders was asked, how are you going to get it done 4 years ago, he said, well, I'm going to have to sell the American people on this. I'm going to have to go around and explain to the American people and use the bully pulpit of the presidency to sell this so that I can put pressure on Congress. Does that have much of an appetite for you? I mean, the idea that you would have to go, you've been dealing with these issues for so long. You know the polling is already there for you. The idea that you're gonna have to essentially be the salesman in chief to a lot of people who are skeptical. Why does that have any appeal?
Oh, are you kidding me? I love that. So go ahead, get in my way if you're a standard corporate politician when I fight for paid family leave. That's 12 weeks of moms and dads taking time off when they have a baby to take care of their baby instead of going right back to an assembly line or a coal mine. Go ahead, Joe Manchin, get in my way, see how it turns out for you. Go ahead, corporate Democrats, get in my way, see how it turns out for you. 84% of Americans. Go ahead, corporate Republicans, get in my way because of your corporate donors. 74% of Republicans want paid family leave. They actually care about moms, they actually care about kids. So, look, I gotta be honest with you. I think Bernie was terrific on policy, and I think he was an amazing leader for progressives, and he has a heart of gold. But that's part of his problem. He's too nice. He refuses to fight Democratic colleagues. And in 2 elections back to back, he refused to fight Hillary Clinton, then he refused to fight Joe Biden. Does it look like I'm refusing to fight Joe Biden or fight corporate Democrats or fight anyone in my path? I will embarrass and humiliate anyone who's against paid family leave. I will drive down their poll numbers mercilessly until they're driven out of politics. I will help finance primaries against them. I'll go to their states, I'll go to their districts and make sure that they lose. Politics is both carrots and sticks. You need hardball to win. But Democrats have gotten lazy and comfortable and corrupt. The Democratic leadership has. Their voters are amazing, and they let down their voters every time because they never fight for them. Imagine a Democrat fighting for you. I know it seems unimaginable, but does it look like I'm gonna have a problem with it? I can't wait to do that for you guys. And I guarantee you that everything on my website, we pass it because they're all incredibly popular. And I will take that popular positions and I will make the other side, whether they're corporate Democrats or the entirety of the Republican Party, admit that they are against the American people. Say it, have the fight so we can have clarity. Whereas Joe Biden takes the public option, doesn't even propose it. He doesn't propose it Because he doesn't want it to pass. He was lying about it the whole time. There's all the difference in the world. The minute I get past the naturalized citizen issue, and if I win in the Supreme Court, we win at this ballot law commission and we get our name in New Hampshire, I'm gonna win New Hampshire. I'm gonna win New Hampshire, I'm gonna shock this world. And the minute that we win that and we win the Supreme Court case, nothing's gonna stop us. We're gonna be a runaway freight train. And so good luck, establishment, good luck.
In terms of the ballot commission, what is victory? Is it you got to get on the ballot? I mean, and how quickly could they make that decision? And is anything less than that, wouldn't that be a defeat?
Okay, so I'm not a standard politician, I'm honest. So if we lose, is it a defeat in that case? Well, of course, we lost, right? So we want our name on the ballot. We have an excellent case. You guys are gonna get to see that case with your own eyes. If you show up there, it's at the State Archives building. We're meeting at 9:15 a.m. Bring signs if you can. If you're a New Hampshire voter, tell them, let us vote. Let us vote. Let us have a voice here. That's exactly what New Hampshire's about. But if we win, that means my name goes on the ballot. And there's an excellent reason why we should win at this level. It doesn't mean that the issue is resolved, David. Another good question, another fair question. It still has to go to the courts. There's no way to resolve this without going all the way to the Supreme Court. So we're gonna do that, and we have an excellent case. But we have to win at the Ballot Law Commission to get on the ballot. So that's what we're gonna try to do on Thursday.
Now, there's also an argument that New Hampshire, and we've heard this from the Democrats and the Democratic establishment, that it doesn't matter how you do or how Dean Phillips does in New Hampshire, because New Hampshire has essentially changed the calendar. The Biden administration, the Democratic National Committee run by Joe Biden, they have determined that South Carolina goes first, and that if New Hampshire leapfrogs ahead of them, as New Hampshire will do, then Biden's not participating. So at the moment, Joe Biden's not participating in New Hampshire, although there's something of an effort to try to have write-in for Joe Biden. But the point that Biden and his supporters are making is that therefore New Hampshire doesn't matter, that ignore Dean Phillips, Cenk Uygur, Marianne Williamson, or anybody else who gets in because Biden is not competing in New Hampshire. What do you say to that?
Look, there's a lot of deep problems with it. But first of all, you think I'm gonna listen to DNC rules when the DNC sets up all of its rules to protect the authoritarian leader and has protected corporate establishment, corrupt politicians my whole life, and has set every rule against progressives, and I'm supposed to care who they think is gonna go first? No, I'm going to New Hampshire and I'm gonna win New Hampshire. I love New Hampshire, and if Joe Biden doesn't love New Hampshire, Joe Biden wants to betray New Hampshire, that's his business. Good, don't run in New Hampshire. We don't want you, okay? And let New Hampshire pick someone who's gonna fight for them. So no, I have no regard for the DNC rules, none when it comes to trying to betray New Hampshire and make sure that they're not the first primary state. So look, you find all the details, because on the Young Turks, unless I'm a guest in very rare situations like this, I can't tell you anything about my campaign. So follow the campaign at cenkforamerica.com, Facebook.com/Cenk Uygur official, where we'll give more videos, campaign updates all the time. Facebook.com/Cenk Uygur official, cenkforamerica.com, and at Twitter and at Instagram at Cenk Uygur. We'll give you campaign updates there. We'll tell you how to exact address of the State Archives building, etc. But no, I'm going to New Hampshire. I'm going to compete in New Hampshire, and if they put me on the ballot, I'm going to win New Hampshire.
Cenk, the DNC and Democrats threw everything, including the kitchen sink at you when you were in for Congress a couple of years ago. They dredged up some remarks from more than 30 years ago when you were a college student and a Republican. How do you view some of those remarks now, and is any of this fair game?
Yeah, so this is the smear jobs that corporate Democrats do, and unfortunately a lot of times they're willing accomplices in mainstream media. So, and by the way, it's funny because mainstream media all of a sudden started quoting the alt-right, the most radical people in the right wing. So they're like, oh, did you know that Cenk said something in the 1990s? Oh, okay, so basically you had to go back 30 years to find something that I said that was gonna offend people, right? So yes, that was a different person back then. I was trying to be a Republican, etc. So some of the comments I've apologized for, but I wanna be super clear. A lot of the comments are totally taken out of context. They're jokes that mainstream media lied about and pretended were not jokes. They didn't even explain that they were jokes. And so, and then they called me anti-Muslim when my background is Muslim. They said that I brought on David Duke to share his anti-Semitic views when I called him an anti-Semite, a bigot, a racist. So mainstream media, if they view you as a threat, will seek and destroy. That's what they're doing to Dean Phillips right now. But Dean can be polite all he likes. I'm not Dean. I'm an outsider, and I'm proud to be an outsider. And now as an outsider, they want to block me and say, oh, you're not American enough to go on a ballot. Well, I think New Hampshire is going to disagree. And I think we're going to change the country, we're going to change the world. So I'm going to New Hampshire, we're going to win it, cenkforamerica.com.
Cenk, finally, regarding this ballot law commission, how quickly do you expect a decision? And also, New Hampshire is known for, the people there love to kick the tires of every presidential candidate and have you do town halls and answer endless questions. At what point do you start doing that? Do you do that before the ballot law commission makes a decision? Do you wait? Take us through this.
Everybody knows I'm happy to take any and all questions. And so I get tough questions here. I get tough questions in other places. I actually get the toughest questions here. But from citizens, come on. I'm not like regular politicians. Come on, I don't mind answering it. You got a crazy question that doesn't make any sense? So what? I'll tell you it's a crazy question that doesn't make any sense. You got something that's you heard somewhere that smears me? Let me clear the air. I don't care. But most importantly, I'll answer your policy questions. And I'll tell you how I'm gonna get bills passed. That it's not just, we're not gonna play patty cakes anymore. If the Democratic voters want something, I'm gonna fight like hell for it. So will I take questions in New Hampshire? Of course. Wherever I go, New Hampshire, Iowa, South Carolina, Nevada, anywhere. Come and find out. Come to my rallies, come to New Hampshire to do the ballot law commission. Come anywhere where I'm campaigning, and I'd be super happy to meet with any voters and answer any questions they have.
Hey, thanks for watching that video. We really appreciate it, guys. And we appreciate it if you become members, because that allows us to be independent, honest, progressive, all the things that you don't get from corporate media. And all of that is because of you guys. Hit the join button below and become one of us, become a Young Turk.